Hi guys, this is Claudia and today I'm gonna take you to see how Gorgonzola cheese is made in Italy. I'm in Trecate in the Piedmont region, which is one of the only two Italian regions together with Lombardy where this cheese can be made. And this is one of the only 29 dairies in the world that can produce this cheese. The Gorgonzola industry is worth over $800 million. Almost 5 million wheels are produced each year, and production is confined to this small area only. Gorgonzola cheese has a centuries-old history, and it is still done using the same ingredients and techniques that it was decades ago. Even machines like this one, used to stir the curd, are designed to recreate human movements as gently as possible. Its beautiful marbled interior is given by Penicillium roqueforti, a fungus that is used to ripen the cheese. And this is why, in fact, blue cheese is called so.
Innanzitutto il gorgonzola è un formaggio che è nato in Valsassina, quindi è un formaggio che nasce sulle Alpi. Le famiglie di bergamini, cioè che erano quelli come i pastori fanno con le pecore, i bergamini lo facevano con le vacche, quindi portavano le vacche al pascolo sostanzialmente. La mia famiglia è una famiglia bergamina ed è da queste famiglie che hanno iniziato a trasformare quel latte che raccoglievano in formaggi. Nel nostro caso hanno fatto formaggio arborinato, quindi in che modo? Facendolo sostanzialmente dopo aver fatto il formaggio veniva lasciato stagionare in queste che anticamente erano degli incavi naturali, quindi delle grotte naturali. Poi sono state delle casere, che erano delle costruzioni proprio particolari che andavano sottoterra in Valsassina. Poi successivamente tutti i produttori, i maggiori produttori di gorgonzola, per necessità economica del tempo, perché comunque le stalle nella pianura padana si erano sviluppate, quindi il commercio era aumentato, si sono spostati in pianura padana.
Gorgonzola cheese is made with unskimmed, pasteurized cow's milk, and it can either be mild and creamy or hard and pungent, depending on how long it is left to age. The two kinds are easily distinguishable by the color of their veins, blue in the creamy and green in the pungent.
Il gorgonzola e quindi anche i formaggi blu sono, per noi sono un formaggio molto particolare, trasversale, perché non è né un formaggio molle né un formaggio stagionato, cioè è tutte e due le cose. In più c'è la variante della muffa blu, del Penicillium roqueforti, che è un altro, apportatore di sapore e di differenze, quindi è un formaggio che ha molte strutture, oltre che visive, cioè anche visivamente è molto bello.
Penicillium roqueforti, the fungus, is added to milk at the very beginning of the production process, in a big cauldron together with enzymes, rennet and yeast. In about 20 minutes, milk becomes curd and can be transferred into molds. Each wheel is marked with the dairy's identification number. You can see number 60 here. That's Caseificio C in Vernizzi we visited. Here, between 450 and 500 gorgonzola wheels are made every day. To help the curd settle, wheels are turned 4 times and then left to rest overnight. Then they are salted a couple of times. At this stage, they weigh about 18 kilos, that's 40 pounds, but this number will drop to 12 kilos, 26 pounds, at the end of the aging process as excess whey is released. The salting rooms are warm and humid. This is also to favor the activity of yeasts inside the cheese. Mild gorgonzola wheels stay for 3 days and hard gorgonzola for 5. Then they are moved again into a cold room, where they are punctured 100 times on each side. This is to allow oxygen into the cheese for it to grow its signature blue veins. all gorgonzolas at Caseificio C in Vernizia are punctured with a machine, but some other in-house cheeses are still punctured by hand. After this step, the cheese is left to age. It takes 2 months for the blue, creamy gorgonzola and 3 months for the green, pungent one. The color difference is pretty evident, but do they really taste different? The dairy set up a little cheese tasting so that we could try them both. That's amazing, my God. It almost doesn't feel like, you bite it into cheese. It just melts in your mouth. Oh wow. They're so different, it's crazy, I mean, you can tell from the texture that this is harder and this is creamier, but this is much, much stronger. It has a stronger bite. After trying gorgonzola on its own, in-house chef Giampiero Cravero wanted to show me how versatile the cheese is, so he cooked some squid ink spaghetti with both cheeses.
Io basta.
Wow, cheese taste is very strong, but I think the combination with the squid ink is great. I mean, color-wise, of course, it's amazing because black and white, they're like opposite, right? So you can really see the cheese in there and it's sort of creamy texture on the pasta. Gorgonzola cheese is protected by the European Union by the Protected Designation of Origin scheme. This means that any cheese labeled gorgonzola must meet a particular set of standards and is subject to quality checks. It's also wrapped in a signature aluminium foil.
Devi essere un caseificio che nasce in questo territorio, cioè tra, genericamente tra Novara e Bergamo. Questo è il territorio consentito, quindi deve essere un caseificio che nasce, che sta in quel territorio, che raccoglie il latte da quel territorio. Infatti noi lo raccogliamo, il nostro latte viene da Magenta, che qui ha 7 km. Tutte le stalle da cui raccogli il latte devono essere certificate per la produzione di gorgonzola. Devi rispettare tutti gli standard che richiede il consorzio. Avrai un numero di casello che tu dovrai imprimere sulle tue forme nel caseificio appena sono state prodotte e oltre a rispettare i giorni di stagionatura, ad esempio, avrai anche da mettere sulla forma finale quando sarà stata stagionata completamente l'alluminio goffrato. Questo è il modo in cui puoi essere tutelato e un produttore deve seguire per fare il gorgonzola DOP, che nella maggior parte dei casi sono comunque delle famiglie storiche che l'hanno sempre prodotto e quindi si sono originate in questi territori.
Today we're in Cortegana in the Sierra de Huelva in Andalusia in Spain to find out all about Iberico ham. Iberian ham, or jamón ibérico, is one of the most expensive meats in the world. A leg of it can cost as much as $4,500. But what is it about this cured meat that makes it cost so much? The reason why it's so prestigious is actually standing behind me. I don't know if you can see, but there are some pigs behind me and they are of this special breed called the Black Iberian pigs. During their life, they feed mostly on acorns, which are very, very present in the Sierra here. And that's what gives this ham such a special flavor. So today we're going to visit a ham factory to learn more about how the actual ham is made. And then we're going to talk about how it's cut, how it's served, and taste it to see why it is so special. Black Iberian pigs descend from wild boars and have been considered a delicacy since long before our times. In the year 77, Roman writer Pliny the Elder praised their superior quality. In 1493, when he sailed across the Atlantic for the second time, Christopher Columbus had Iberian pigs aboard his caravels. The most expensive of them all sells for 4,100 euros, which is over $4,500. But despite the high price, this ham remains a local favorite. Black Iberian pigs can be found in the southern and western regions of the Iberian Peninsula, which comprises Spain and Portugal. In Spain, Iberian ham production is confined to the provinces of Salamanca, Huelva, Córdoba, Cáceres, and Badajoz. Portugal also produces it under the name Presunto Ibérico. Spanish Iberian ham is protected by the EU's Protected Designation of Origin. The 5 Spanish provinces where it is produced are split into 4 different protected designations of origin. Out of the total production of Iberian ham, only 6% comes with a black label, indicating it's the 100% Iberian pure breed. Iberian pigs are raised in an ecosystem known as the Dehesa.
Es una zona muy quebrada, mucha sierra, difícil de acceso. Animales que se criaban son muy duros, se crían con tiempo malo, con mucho frío y con las inclemencias de la sierra, pero a su vez da mucho aporte energético, mucho rendimiento.
The pigs live in the wild, roaming freely in the Dehesa. Per regulations, there shouldn't be more than 2 pigs per hectare of grassland. The Dehesa is rich in olives, nuts, and berries, but especially in acorns, called bellotas in Spanish, which are rich in nutrients and fatty acids, basically a superfood for pigs.
El cerdo ibérico proviene directamente del jabalí, entonces son cerdos que tienen mucha más masa muscular y menos grasa. Al estar en libertad, toda esa grasa está dentro del músculo y no se queda en la parte de fuera de la carne.
So after learning all about the Black Iberian pig and why it's such a special pig and different from any other breed, we are at a local company here in Cortegana, Lazo, to find out about the making process of the hams. Ham comes from the rear leg of the pig. Most companies would also cure the front leg, called paleta, and use the rest of the meat for other products, like chorizo. Lazo stores over 150,000 legs in its cellars. Some of the hams made here come from an even rarer breed of the Iberian pig, the Manchado de Jabugo, which has black patches on its skin and can only be found in the Sierra de Huelva. The pigs are killed when they're 15 months old. The hams and paletas are then buried in salt for 15 to 20 days, depending on weight.
Eso es lo que hace secar la pieza y mantenerla en su conservación, que la carne no se pudra, ¿no?
After salting, the process starts to gradually slow down. The legs spend about 2 months in a temperature-controlled room, then they are moved to an airy room for 6 to 9 months.
Donde de una forma natural, en la Sierra de Huelva, con unas temperaturas, unas condiciones climatológicas distintas a otros sitios, de forma natural el jamón suda, la grasa se funde y hace que coja los aromas, los bouquets, los aires de la sierra. Eso transformado después pasa todo al magro, que es la carne. La carne tiene una untuosidad, tiene unas características organolépticas completamente distintas a las de otras especies y a las de otra nutrición, a la otra alimentación.
The final stage of curing, and also the longest, is the one in cellars. On average, an Iberian ham needs a couple of years to reach its peak flavor, but some legs can cure for much longer.
Están más o menos tiempo en función de su peso, pero 2 años, 3 años, 4 años pasan aquí.
To get a better understanding of how Iberian ham is labeled on the market, we visited Productos de la Sierra, a shop in Seville that sources local products from Andalucía and no farther than 250 kilometers.
Para el jamón ibérico hay 4 tipos de calidad que son representados con 4 colores. La máxima calidad es el color negro y es el jamón 100% ibérico de bellota. Eso quiere decir que la mamá y el papá del cerdo han sido 100% ibéricos de bellota y se ha criado en libertad alimentado con bellotas. Luego, la siguiente calidad es el color rojo, que sería que la mamá es 100% ibérica, pero el papá es duroc, que es otra raza de cerdo. Los cerdos que son criados en libertad, pero no se han alimentado con bellotas, es el cerdo verde, el precinto verde, que es el cebo de campo. Y luego hay otro estándar de calidad, que es el más bajo, que proviene de ganadería intensiva, que es el precinto blanco. How we know if it's a good ham? Needs to be, soft, and the fat needs to melt with a little bit of temperature, so it's a good one.
As with its origin and environment, Iberian ham is carved using a specific technique which can take a lot of time to learn.
El jamón ibérico se corta con un cuchillo largo, corto y muy flexible. Es muy importante cortar siempre en dirección del músculo para que el sabor de la grasa y la carne siempre permanezca en la misma dirección.
¿Cuáles son los retos de esta profesión?
Conseguir que tenga el máximo número de lonchas cada vez que cortas un jamón, y también hay la posibilidad de hacer bonitos diseños con la grasa y con las diferentes lonchas.
So this one is our Jamón Ibérico. This one is 100% Ibérico, which is the highest grade. It's cut in like such a divine shape. I've never seen a ham cut like this. You're used to those like very long, just a bit sad slices. This one looks like kind of royal, and the room smells so nice. It smells so nice. And actually, before I try it, I just want to point out how shiny is this fat. So good, so good. I have no words, my voice is gone. It's so good. It's not salty. Like, that's the thing that astonishes me every time that I have like a good quality ham or meat in general, that it doesn't taste like salt, even though it's the main stage of the production, of course. It's just nice and flavorful. Taste is nutty. Like, you can taste the corn in here. It really traces back to the actual pig that made this. It's really nice, and especially the fat, you should keep it. It's very nice and greasy, adds a bit more of a buttery texture, and the marbling as well, because these pigs are smaller than the usual pigs we're used to, and there is more muscles in their legs rather than fat. It's very, very tender, and it really has a different flavor compared to other hams.